morning students. In this today's class we are going to discuss the next properties of an D block elements, transition elements. The seventh one, melting point of and transition elements. Melting point of transition elements. The melting point of the transition element is greater than 900 degrees Celsius. Melting point of a transition element is the greater than 900 degrees Celsius. Why this? The melting point is greater than 900 degrees Celsius because when we observe the bonding in the transition elements, it has capacity to what? It has capacity to form the metallic bonding as well as the covalent bonding. Then it can form an metallic bond as well as the covalent bond. The covalent bond is mainly due to the n-1, that is d orbitals. The covalent bonding is mainly due to the n-1 d orbitals, and the metallic bonding is the electron present in the ns orbitals. The metallic bonding will take place due to the presence of electrons in the ns orbitals, and the covalent bonding will take place the electron present in the ns, that is the electron present in the n-1 d orbitals. Due to the presence of a metallic bonding and the covalent bonding, these have the high melting point. When we observe zinc, mercury and cadmium, these three has less melting point than the 900 degrees Celsius. These have the lesser melting point than the 900 degrees Celsius because when we take the electronic configuration of an zinc, cadmium and mercury, the d orbitals are completely filled. The d orbitals are completely filled. Therefore, the covalent bonding is not possible in the zinc, mercury and cadmium. Due to the complete d orbital completely filled and covalent bonding cannot take place in the zinc, cadmium and mercury. Therefore, the only melting point, that is when the metallic bond is possible in the zinc, cadmium and mercury, therefore the melting point of these three elements will be lesser than the 900 degrees Celsius. When we observe, the mercury has the melting point of minus 38.9 degrees Celsius. The melting point of the mercury is minus 38.900 degrees Celsius. Due to the presence of the metallic bond and covalent bond, these are very hard in nature. When we compare these with the s block elements, in the s block element, only the outermost orbit is completely filled in the ns orbit. That is in the s block element. The s block elements are the alkali metals and alkaline earth metal. Those are metal and these are also metal. In the alkali and alkaline earth metal, the d block, that is d orbital is completely filled. Therefore, the covalent bond is not possible in the alkali and alkaline earth metal. In this, the covalent as well as the metallic bonds are possible. Therefore, these are harder than the s block elements. Okay? The s block elements are in the s block element only the metallic bonding is possible. The metallic bonding is mainly due to the electrons in the ns orbitals. These are soft in nature. This can be cut with the help of a knife. The s block elements are soft in nature, then these can be cut with the help of a knife. Whereas due to the presence of metallic as well as covalent bond, these are harder and dense in nature. Therefore, these cannot be cut with the help of a knife. Okay? Then the melting point and boiling point, generally we take the melting point. That melting point of the and transition element is greater than 900 degrees Celsius. In the zinc, cadmium and mercury, it has a lesser than the 900 degrees Celsius. When we compare, when we take the mercury, it has a minus 38.9 degrees Celsius. And the highest melting point will be shown by the tungsten, that is 3400 degrees Celsius. In the D block element, the metal called tungsten, it will show the highest melting point, that is 3400 degrees Celsius. When we compare the manganese, the electronic of that is the elements of and D block elements of scandium, titanium, vanadium, chromium, manganese, iron, cobalt, nickel, copper and zinc. When we compare the zinc with the vanadium and cobalt, then let us take the electronic configuration of the manganese, that is 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29 and 30. When we take the electronic configuration of manganese, the electronic configuration is 3d5 4s2. Then 3d5 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The number of electrons present here 1, 2. This is the electronic configuration of manganese, that is Mn. 3d5 4s2 and 1, 1, 1, 1, 1. Then it is the complete and outermost electronic configuration for the manganese. When we take the vanadium, the electronic configuration is 3d3 4s2. Okay? When we fill up with the outermost orbit, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3 electrons, and in the outermost orbit there is 2 electrons are present. And when we compare with the cobalt, that is cobalt having the atomic number 27 and electronic configuration is 3d7 4s2. When we fill up with the orbitals 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1. Then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 in the d orbital, and in the s orbital there are 2 electrons. Okay? These are responsible for the formation. These electrons are responsible for the formation of an metallic bond. Okay? And that is ns electrons are responsible for the formation of a metallic bond. These d orbitals are responsible for the formation of a covalent bond. When we compare the cobalt, vanadium and manganese, in the cobalt, that is 3 unpaired electrons are present, and in the vanadium 3 unpaired electrons are present, but in the manganese 5 unpaired electrons are present. Then the covalent bonding will be maximum. Comparing with the unpaired electrons, the covalent bonding will be maximum seen in the manganese, and it has a high melting point according to the unpaired electrons. When we compare and cobalt, vanadium and manganese, the manganese has greater melting point compared to the vanadium and cobalt, because even though these contain the 5 unpaired electrons, the melting point of the manganese will be lesser than the vanadium and cobalt, because the abnormal structure can be produced by the, that is abnormal structure can be produced by the manganese. Therefore the melting point of manganese will be lesser than the vanadium and cobalt, even though it contains the 5 unpaired electrons. This is about the melting point of the transition elements. And 781 metallic characters are properties of D block elements. In this section we have discussed the metallic bonding. That is, metallic bonding is mainly due to the, and in the D block elements, the both metallic as well as the covalent bonds are present. The covalent bonds are mainly due to the n-1 d electrons, The electron present in the N-1 d are responsible for the formation of covalent bond, and the electrons present in the Ns orbitals are responsible for the formation of an metallic bond. Okay. When we compare with the s block element, only the s block, the outermost orbit of the s block element is completely filled. Therefore, this will only produce the metallic bond compared to the that is transition elements. Therefore, the s block elements are soft in nature, and due to the absence of an covalent bond, these are soft in nature. This can be cut with the help of knife. Due to the presence of both the metallic and covalent bond, these are the hard and dense in nature. These are hard and dense in nature. When we see the packing efficiency for the metals, mainly the packing can be done in the form of a simple cubic unit cell. Mainly the packing can be done in three ways. That is simple cubic unit cell, face centered cubic unit cell, body centered cubic unit cell. We have studied in the solid state chapter. Now it is packing efficiency can be seen in the simple cubic unit cell, face centered cubic unit cell, body centered cubic unit cell. In the simple cubic unit cells, the packing efficiency can be seen 52%, and in the body centered cubic unit cell, the 68% of packing efficiency can be seen. In the FCC, that is face centered cubic unit cell, 74% of packing efficiency can be seen. More the packing efficiency, more will be the density will be seen in the, and that more the packing efficiency, more will be the density. When we observe the face centered cubic unit cell, the maximum d block elements will lies in the face centered cubic unit cell, and therefore the packing efficiency 74%. Therefore, these are harder and dense in nature. This is about the that is metallic character. And ninth one, formation of the ninth property, formation of interstitial compounds. Interstitial compounds. Then what are interstitial compounds? Interstitial compound means these are also known as non-stoichiometric compounds. The metals, that is atoms, are present in the spherical shape. There will be a gap between the atoms. That gap is known as an void or interstitial void. You can call it as interstitial voids. These are simply known as voids or interstitial void. The gap between the atoms is known as voids or interstitial void. These are considered. These are the iron metals. Consider these are the atoms of iron. And in between the iron, that is atoms, in between the atoms of iron, there will be a gap. That gap is known as, generally this gap is known as voids or interstitial void. Consider in the interstitial void, if we insert the non-metals like carbon, hydrogen, oxygen, nitrogen, etc. When we insert these non-metals in the interstitial void of the metal, then those compounds are known as an interstitial compounds. If the non-metals are inserted in the interstitial voids or voids of the metal, then those compounds are known as interstitial compounds. Consider here, in the interstitial void of an iron, if we insert the carbon, then it is known as steel. Then it will become the steel. If we insert the interstitial void, inside the interstitial void with the and carbon, that is carbon is inserted in the interstitial void of a metal called iron, then it is known as an steel. That steel is known as interstitial compound. When we insert these non-metals in the voids of metal, we cannot insert the fixed number of non-metals. we cannot insert these non-metals in a fixed ratio in the interstitial void. Therefore, these are also known as non-stoichiometric compounds. These are also known as non-stoichiometric compounds. Non-stoichiometric is there will be no fixed ratio, then it is known as non-stoichiometric. Okay. The non-metals cannot be inserted in a fixed ratio in the interstitial void of metal, then it is known as a non-stoichiometric compound. These are also known as non-stoichiometric compound. The main reason behind the formation of an interstitial compound is due to the an approximately similar atomic size. When we observe the atomic size of an d block element from scandium to chromium, the size is decreases because the nuclear charge increases. Therefore, the atomic size from scandium to chromium will be decreases. From manganese to copper, the atomic size will be remains approximately same because the screening effect will be equal to the nuclear charge. And from copper to zinc, the atomic size will be decreases. Atomic size will be increases due to the increase in the atomic size will be decreases due to increase in the nuclear charge. Then we take the manganese from manganese to copper. When we observe manganese, iron, cobalt, nickel, copper, these have approximately same size. Due to the same size, that is approximate same size, we can insert the non-metals in the interstitial void of metals. The main reason is the similar atomic size, we can form the interstitial compound. Another one, that is 10th one, formation of an alloy. These are involved in the formation of alloy. Alloy is nothing but when we insert and crystal lattice, when we insert in the crystal lattice of metal by another metals. Okay, mainly the jewelry is the example. Jewelry. These are nothing but the alloy. When in the interstitial void of crystal in the crystal lattice of metal, if metal is inserted, then it is known as an alloy. This formation of alloy is mainly due to the similar atomic size. Okay. This is about the today's class. We have taken the melting point, metallic characters, formation of interstitial compound, and formation of alloys. In the melting point, the transition elements are the greater than 900 degrees Celsius melting point due to the presence of an metallic bond as well as covalent bond. The metallic bond is mainly due to the ns electrons. The covalent bond is mainly due to the n-1 electrons. Okay. When we observe the magnets, when we zinc, cadmium and mercury will have the lesser melting point than the 900 degrees Celsius, because zinc, mercury and cadmium are the completely filled d orbitals. The d orbitals are completely filled, therefore the melting point of these three elements will be lesser than the 900 degrees Celsius. If we take the mercury, the melting point of mercury is minus 38.9 degrees Celsius, and the highest melting point will be shown by the tungsten, that is 3400 degrees Celsius. The d block element, the highest melting point will be shown by the tungsten, that is 3400 degrees Celsius. When we compare the manganese with the cobalt and vanadium, the melting point of manganese will be lesser than the vanadium and cobalt. Even though it contains the 5 lone pair of electron, it shows the lesser melting point than the vanadium and cobalt, because the manganese will form the abnormal structure, therefore the melting point of the manganese will be lesser than the vanadium and cobalt. Eighth one we have seen that is metallic characters. These will show the metallic characters then due to the presence of electron in the ns orbital, and also these that is covalent bond is possible due to the presence of n minus 1 d orbitals. When we compare these with the s orbital, this s block element, these are harder and dense in nature because the maximum packing efficiency can be seen in the FCC. The maximum elements are present in the FCC form. Packing efficiency is the FCC form. Therefore, these are harder and dense in nature. Okay. Formation of interstitial compound due to the presence of identical size. These have the capacity to form the interstitial compound as well as the alloy. If we insert in the void, that is, if we insert non-metal in the voids of metal, that is known as interstitial compounds. If we insert in the that is, if we insert metal in the interstitial void of metal, that is known as an alloy. This is our today's class. In the next class, we will discuss the next topic. Thank you.